A little experiment I like to do when I'm in the town center, like I am today, is to go into one of the religious establishments, like Christian Bookshop, and do what I like to call reverse counter-apologetics, where I pretend to be a sort of conservative-minded religious type, asking about something of concern to me. And in light of the recent decision in America that same-sex marriage is legal in all 50 states, that, I always thought I'd pretend, that if I went in as a concerned Christian and to say something along the lines of, how do I talk to my deluded liberal friends about this, that it's wrong and so on and so forth, just to see what I would get back. So I'm going to try that now. This could be fun. Could you help me find something down in the lifestyle section?
Yeah, certainly.
It's the whole sort of marriage equality thing, which has happened in the States now.
Okay.
Still, I come from there. So it's just sort of something to guide me to explain to friends they're all very, pro-gay and all that stuff. But it's, what the Bible teaches.
There's a fantastic little book, which is right up here. British author called Sam Albury. He's got anti-gay.
I think I've seen this in.
I think it was in Christianity magazine.
Yeah.
So it comes highly recommended from a lot of people who would take. I'm guessing from what you're saying that you too would hold fast to a traditional, let's say biblical kind of point of view, and so it comes highly recommended from people that wouldn't go towards the liberal end of the spectrum. And so you kind of know in that sense it's coming from a good place. He himself, Sam Albury, from what I understand of him, he would say that he discovered when he was just in his late teenage years that he felt he was gay, and he asked the question of, I think essentially you could sum up, you could say, well, if you feel that you're in that situation, actually it's right to follow biblical practices and say, actually, I might feel like this is who I am, but I still feel it's not right to practice those, which I think is...
Yeah, but what I get back from, one of my friends, they came out as he was bisexual, really. He says, I didn't choose to be like this. Okay, I don't know about that. You're telling me that I can be this way, but I can't go do anything about it. And I can't, it's not necessarily even talking about sex, just being with somebody. But that's what it means. So, I guess in terms of apologetics, I can't get around that one. So,
there's a few resources. This is a big one that's come out as well, which obviously in a bit more depth tackles the same questions. And to be honest, there might be a couple. Obviously, this is the most up-to-date one.
This one?
Sorry, it's got anti-gay here. This is the most up-to-date one. This is only 2014, so it's not out of date. I imagine on the back of what's happened this week, there'll be a new wave of books coming out in the next 12 months or so. This is our kind of hot topics section, so there'll be other things that
I definitely will take this one to begin with. But something else I couldn't really answer is I was talking to somebody in Speaker's Corner actually about this, and they said, Old Testament is full of polygamy. They're marrying Jacob and Isaac. They had multiple wives. So isn't that biblical? Well, yes, it is, but it's no longer.
Do you know what? There might be some stuff
it's tough.
Around this way.
It's tough.
So we've got an apologetics section over here, and there are some books that specifically answer a lot of questions. There's something like the top 100 questions. I think that's more of a
Is that a the one that I grew up with? Well, my mother actually had it. Was the Josh McDowell book.
Yes,
and I know they're still going.
That's McDowell there. There's a few that he's done. Yeah, absolutely. The
thing is, the counter-apologetics on the other side is getting more and more difficult to... I'm not saying, they're right. I'm saying I don't know. I can't on the spot come back with something. So
yeah, and there's the good thing is there have been some great apologetic books that have been written recently that really help. I mean, I'm just wondering, actually, this was the one I was looking for, the top 100 questions, whether this tackles that question quite specifically, because I've heard that question before as well.
Polygamy was part of their way of life, then God didn't say stop doing, or did he? I don't know. But then Jesus said the opposite: one man and one woman.
Yeah, so. It's odd because you almost see just a ceasing of it come in the New Testament. It doesn't really seem like it's such an issue anymore, even though not too long before that, I mean, you have Solomon, for example, and he's there as well. So what have we got here? In marriage, divorce, sex only allowed in marriage. I can't necessarily see anything straight away about...
What was that? What about desires of people of the same sex?
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have a flick through this without buying it, feel free. Feel free to sit down and have a look. And I mean, you might find some useful things here in our apologetics section.
There's nothing like on YouTube particularly. There's a bit about it. Probably there's going to be a lot more now, as you say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a difficult one because obviously it's like our beliefs against civil rights movement. What's going to prevail? Yes. And I'm not sure anymore what's going to prevail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's almost...
You don't want to look like a dick, talking to me.
And it's almost as if, the biblical argument, which always used to be the one that was standing up for morality and goodness, is almost now seen as the evil option and the bad option and the dark option, and common morality and liberalism is enlightenment. So
but to my liberal friends and colleagues, as far as they're concerned, they're being very, very kind and loving and accepting, which I can see from that point of view. And I say, well, look what's in here, I'll have my Bible or the Bible app on my phone, and they say, so what? That's an old book.
Yeah.
And you can't get past that, or at least I can't. Perhaps I'm not very good at it.
That's one we all struggle with. It is, isn't it? Because, see, we say, well, Bible is God's word, it's God speaking to us, and if you don't believe that, it's difficult to use the Bible as a reason for believing anything, isn't it? So,
and you can say to them, which I have said, just ask God to reveal himself to you, which he will. And they say, well, one particular friend will say, why should I ask something I don't believe is there in the first place? And it's like, okay, how do I get around that? Maybe I'm just bad at it, I don't know. It's just so I need something to sort of inspire me. I'm going to have
some good stuff there.
Yeah, I'm going to have a flick through this. Thank you very much. Okay, well, in my, subtle sort of way, I didn't really expect a huge debate or argument. The young guy that helped me was, a very, very pleasant individual. You wouldn't think to look at him that he would be anything but perhaps progressive and, liberal-minded. But as I discovered, anti-gay sentiment and bigotry and narrow-mindedness is alive and well in the UK amongst the 20-somethings, which is very sad indeed. But that's what these little experiments are for, just to see how far this has gone. And hopefully what happened in America this past week is an indication of how things are going. If it can happen there, of all places, it can happen anywhere.